Conservation Mismatch by Gabrielle Johnson. This project looked at conservation mismatch in the United States. I researched journal articles as well as GIS tools to look at the issue. My research question had two parts. The first part was, to analyze a conservation mismatch hypothesis, I looked at data on where there are biodiversity hotspots in the United States. I looked at data for some of the endangered species such as amphibians, birds, mammals, and trees. The second part was I looked at the research on where there are conservation hotspots and protected lands for those vulnerable biodiversity hotspots. This slide displays some of the maps I created using GIS. The map on the left-hand side shows endangered areas for amphibians, birds, mammals, and trees. Many of the species that are endangered are in the southeast region. The middle section shows a raster calculator used to create the map on the right. This map shows biodiversity hotspots. As it is shown, the high priority areas are in the southeast region. The map on the left shows that the density of protected lands in the United States is primarily in the southwest and west regions. There are areas that are really protected, but as the map shows on the right, they are not the highest priority. This shows that there is a conservation mismatch. Areas that are high priority for protection are not protected. An article by Jesse Greenspan expanded more on a conservation mismatch. In this article, some of the key ideas were that some of the vulnerable species are the least protected. The largest area that is protected are the lower 48 states in the interior Midwest. The highest density of vulnerable species are in the Southeast, Texas, and California areas. There needs to be an increase in conservation investment to protect the vulnerable unprotected areas. And lastly, many species have already gone extinct from not being protected, and many more are on the brink of going extinct. The map on the right shows existing protected areas that are colored by a category. An article by Clinton Jenkins explained how many of the U.S. protected lands mismatch the biodiversity priorities. Some of his key points were that habitat loss is the main cause of extinction. Where and how society chooses to protect is vital for saving species. This should be considered a societal goal in the United States. There is need for more protection in the southeast where there are vulnerable species. And lastly, he recommends specific areas deserving additional protection, some of them being public lands while others require private investment. The map on the right displays ownership of the highlighted regions. Christopher J. Brown wrote an article disagreeing with Jenkins' ideas and explained what he thought is an effective objective to prioritizing conservation of biodiversity hotspots. His main objections were that priority setting requires explicit and defensible objectives. Conservation plans should prioritize actions, not species or places. Conservation plans should consider some of the economic, political, and social constraints on actions. Conservation plans should protect and complement all species, not those simply in the species-richness hotspot. Jenkins then wrote an article replying to Brown's response. He opposed strategies of placing cost and convenience above species' risk of extinction. Species needing greater protection should be the priority. Conservation must consider local situations and opportunities, and he noted that many existing protected areas were designated because they were inexpensive, expedient, and/or had impressive scenery. In conclusion, there is a conservation mismatch problem in the United States. Many of the protected areas are not high-priority biodiversity hotspots. There needs to be a larger focus on protecting species and areas in the southeast regions by incorporating ideas from both Jenkins and Brown.